All right, here's another scenario. Divide and conquer. I remember this scenario very well. These memories are coming back like a flood. And so this is probably why my sister and I don't talk, because we were pitted against each other. We were pitted against each other at such a young age. And I remember, I think I was maybe 6, 7. We were young. And my mother was like, someone went to the jewelry box and moved around some jewelry. And I don't wear jewelry. My mom is a scary person. Okay. She's a scary person. So we would never do anything to cross her. We were so fucking scared of her. And so why would we go into a jewelry box? And we didn't wear jewelry. We didn't do anything with jewelry. So when she told us that someone moved something in her jewelry box, we're like, we didn't do it. My sister's like, I didn't do it. I'm like, I didn't do it. And so then what did she do? She puts both of us in our rooms. Okay. We couldn't get out until one of us admits that we did it. Okay, so you're a kid. You didn't do it. Your sister didn't do it. She claimed we both wouldn't do that because we're both fucking scared of our mother. And so then I got my sister to admit that she did it. I got her to say, okay, I promised her something. I said, okay, sister, admit that you did it. Just admit it and I'll give you something or whatever. And so she did. She got in trouble. Now my sister hates me. Oh, I don't blame her for hating me for that. And then, of course, knowing that's a power, and then using that as a way to manipulate. And that's the divide and conquer in the Democrats, the Republicans. That's 9/11. When something happens and then you blame both sides and then then you have speculation of who did it. Okay? And then you have people hating each other. They think that the administration did it. They think that the people over there in the Middle East did it. And you don't know. But see, that's the thing, is that's when you create scenarios that didn't have to exist and you create controversy, that's how you get people to react. And that's how you get divide and conquer. And then you can see who's stronger. Then you can see who's the manipulative ones. That makes somebody that will, that's the psychological programming. That's what I'm saying. I recognize so many tactics out there with the divide and conquer and the Democrats, the Republicans, the pro-V and the anti-V, and the disease and the cancer. All these psychological operations that when something happens and then you're punishing everybody until someone admits they did it, and then people blame, and then they're like, oh, they did it, or this, and so then that's, wow. But I don't think, obviously, my sister didn't touch the jewelry box. I didn't touch it either. That was a scenario to put us in a stressful situation, to see how we would respond, and who would admit something that they didn't do. And why did they admit it? Well, because obviously the other person figured out a way for them to admit something. That's some crazy shit. And so then the weaker person in that relationship gets cannibalized. Because situations were presented to make them get cannibalized. That's how crazy these scientists, that's what scientists do in their own home. It's what they do out there in the media. It's what they do out there in so many situations. And so then you can't even trust that these, that's why, I guess that's why Alex Jones really did not believe the whole Sandy Hook stuff. Because there's scenarios like that where someone creates a situation and then causes different reactions and justifications. And so when you experience it again at the micro level, you see the familiarity at the macro level. Okay? You see it at the macro level. And so it takes someone that's not genetically related to someone to pull that kind of experiment where you purposely now have caused a rift between two sisters. And then the outcome, where we're not talking, is the intention. And I think a couple of years ago when my sister and I did hang out together when I was in Sacramento, I did apologize for whatever went on. I still they don't know everything that went on after I left, but I remember I was really just trying to apologize. And I don't even know what I was apologizing for. I mean, because I knew, and I know she thinks I was bad or whatever, but no, we both were manipulated into psychologically destroying each other. We were manipulated into that. We were manipulated into divide and conquer. Okay? And so you have to understand that's what's going on right now. You guys are being manipulated to divide and conquer. I'm not saying work together. I'm not saying, doing the whole love, let's get connected platitudes. No. But you got to realize there's a lot of psychological operations in the federal government on both parties, not just the liberal side, the left, but also the right. Okay? And so when I experience it at a child level, then that shit's being used out there in the adult level, out there when it comes to the political landscape and the religious landscape and the scientific landscape. And so then you see all the triggers and the triggers in some of these news articles around certain issues. Okay? Because it is all psychological. To get you to react. To see what you're made of. But doing that to children, holy shit. But then that's the thing. Adults are just large children. They haven't grown up yet. And that's what a lot of scientists know. You are dealing with adult children. So when you do these experiments on children, that's how the adults are going to act, because adults, again, are large children. Okay, that's why they do some experiments on children, because they know how it's going to then manifest in the adults who haven't grown up, who are still dealing with their childhood trauma and inner child. Okay? And so now it dawned on me that, because I know I would never touch her jewelry, neither would my sister. We ran so fucking scared of our mother. We would never do anything to cross her. When she came home, we were all finding a way to figure out how to get out of her way and whatever. Or we always asked our dad, when's mom coming home? When's mom coming home? So we knew we had time to just be free, because we knew as soon as she came home, it would be, watch out. You wouldn't want to cross her. And when I was reading stuff about the Betty Broderick story, oh my God, she had the same thing. When her husband came home, she acted so different. She had to put all the toys away. She had to do all this stuff, because if he came home and everything was out of place, he would be pissed off. And I'm like, shit, I live with that. I understand what drove Betty Broderick to destroy, but not that I would do that. But I could see why people get driven to the end of their rope, literally. And so yeah. And so if you've ever experienced that kind of situation with anyone, get out if you can. If you're scared of someone coming home and you have to act different because someone's coming home, whoever it is, then you are in a bad situation as an adult. If you as an adult are afraid of somebody coming home, you're in a bad situation. If you're a kid and you're afraid of someone coming home, I don't even know how to help you with that. Because if you can't prove abuse, they're going to be like, well, you're just an entitled kid that doesn't want to listen to rules. And so intellectual abuse and psychological abuse is so much more prevalent because you can't really prove it. And if you can't really prove it and you can't articulate it, then you don't have a case. That's how evil aspects of science is. And again, it is all over politics, religion, and the science world. And so while science can have its upside in infrastructure and advancing us, when it comes to humans, science has no remorse for what they do or do not do. Science does not care if it's a kid, if it's an animal, if it's an adult. Science has no heart when it comes to people. Just look at the medical holistic system. They have trained these doctors and nurses not to have a heart. And they've brainwashed them into thinking that destroying somebody through antibiotics and surgeries is a heart. That's how fucked up science is. All right, bye.